We are. We have another week, another map, right? Do we need to see the map that we finished last week, or are we going to jump into the map we committed to doing this week?
Did we actually finish the map last week? It seems to me we got ourselves into a little bit of a corner
Okay.
before we stopped for the evening. And I think we needed to spend more time on that map if we were going to.
Let's finish that map, then we'll pull that up.
I have a couple of announcements before we get started
Sure.
into the maps. I can open that map. A couple of things. The first thing is that last week we started working on that map, and it was mentioned about the districts being numerated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and people kind of attaching something to that number, even though we've repeatedly said the numbers don't have any real sustenance at this point. It was suggested by the council member that we move away from numbers and go to letters, which I can go in and change, but I just wanted to make sure that you all were okay with that.
And for the sake of just logistics, we'll just go, 1 will be A, 2 will be B sequentially?
Essentially, yes. It'll be the same. I can go back in and change that at any time, so I'm not going to do it and take time to do it during the meeting, but I wanted to just make you all aware.
Okay, thank you.
Secondarily,
Well,
I spoke with our communications.
Before we move on, I'm sorry.
Sure.
Do we know how the city will, and for the purposes of election, how the city will actually describe the districts?
We have not decided that yet, so that is an ongoing thing. I don't think it's a necessity to be discovered and figured out right this second as we're doing the maps, but it is something that has come up, so there'll be more discussion around it.
Okay, I'm kind of concerned because with each iteration of the map, we've sort of restarted the process, and in some cases, what was District 1 has become District 4, and so forth and so on. It's already confusing enough, I think, for us. If we change the letters, I don't see it becoming any less confusing, even if maybe letters seem to have less significance to people. So I'm still wondering whether maybe we should take the time to come up with some sort of friendly names for these districts. I mean, generally speaking, we could say the North Central District, the Central District, the Southeast District, as we're going through this. Granted, we might need to figure out some creative names if they don't fall neatly into those quadrants or however you want to describe them, but I'm just wondering if we aren't just making things, adding another layer of complexity in terms of keeping track of these districts.
Okay.
And I just throw it out.
I just had a question for clarification. So is the issue, like, is there some sort of negative connotation being associated with the numbers, or what is the issue? No, seriously, because, like, we're going to have to attach some symbol to explain what 9 districts are uniquely different. And so what's the challenge?
I think people are just saying, oh, that's District 1, or why aren't we District 1? Why did that district get District 1? So just trying to, like, move away from numerology, because numerology is, like, first place, second place, third place.
Yeah.
And so that's why we discussed, just for the purposes of showing people things, to potentially use letters versus numbers, because letters don't have the same connotation as numerology.
And what if it's, to go off of that, what you're both saying, just slice it and, like, into the cardinal districts, like, of the compass around the city. So north, northeast, east, southeast, just to clarify, instead of, like, trying to, because on each map, that way at least people can still kind of see how they fall based on, I don't know, nobody's going to be totally happy with whatever we decide.
It's hard enough for me to follow our discussions when we're talking about District 7, which isn't in the same place it was last time we made a map.
Right.
You know, it just, even if we had to be creative in a few cases because they didn't fall neatly into cardinal points, I think it would be better if we could come up with some kind of a name that is fairly constant for each of these districts. Maybe it's just me. But
Maybe it's just one iteration, it's a alphanumeric number or letter. The next one, it's a symbol, and the next one, it's a Greek letter. I don't know, just because I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time trying to name districts that don't matter.
I wouldn't think too deeply into it right now. I mean, I think our biggest priority is getting the maps done. What they're called is not of the most importance right now. Although I will say that, you know, if you guys do decide that you want to do it by quadrant, just being mindful of where people think they live and what the quadrant's called could also be cause for concern for constituents, but.
Right, that's why I wasn't proposing that it be the, Hilltop district, even though Hilltop may be the largest constituent for exactly that reason. I agree, it isn't something we should spend a lot of time on. On the other hand, I was thinking maybe this would be a good time to resolve it as opposed to getting further down the road
And having to
and
change
need
it
to do
again.
it then. So I'll leave it there.
Thank you, Commissioner Paul, for your input.
Sure.
To my other second point, the communications team would like to do a video with all 5 of you in studio to create clips and stuff to talk about the process and how it's been going and things of that nature to utilize for our social media and media campaigns around district and get people interested. And so I know that we have our last meeting on Tuesday, October 5th, at least for this iteration of maps. And so I was wondering if, because you guys are typically already here on Wednesdays, if you would be available on that Wednesday just for a half an hour to go to in the studio for about 30 minutes. So think 5:30 to 6, 6:15, so they can get that recorded. Anybody have any issues with that?
What day?
It would be Wednesday, our normal Wednesday meeting time, from 5:30 to 6, because we won't be meeting that day, we'll be meeting on Tuesday that week.
You said we are meeting Tuesday that week, so we would then meet a second time on Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday would just be to do the video recording, but as far as meeting for commission purposes, it would just be that Tuesday meeting, because the maps will be released on that Thursday.
And Chair Moore, I think the shared Google map needs to be updated, doesn't it, at that point? Because I still have us meeting, actually, I'm sorry, I do have us meeting on Tuesday for working session, but then I also showed us holding Wednesday and having a presentation on Thursday. Is that still the plan?
You're looking at the CRDC calendar.
I believe I am, yes, sir.
I can make the necessary changes if need be.
The holding session on Wednesday is in case it's needed. The goal is to be finished on Tuesday, just because if we're going to present on Thursday,
Right.
I need to be able to turn everything around, but we held it on there just in case.
So give me, speaking of numbers, give me a number. What Tuesday are you talking about?
Tuesday, October 5th.
Which was the deviation from our Wednesday schedule.
Yes, to allow us to have the maps go out on that Thursday, which is Thursday, October 7th.
So Wednesday is listed as if absolutely needed,
That's correct.
and the map presentation is on that Thursday.
Yeah.
Yep. Is that what you see, Commissioner Paul?
Yes.
Okay.
Wednesday is now 5:30 to 6:15 for a video shoot.
It's for the video shoot. Yeah, definitely. Yes, yes.
So Wednesday, October 6th, we're going to be here at 5:30 just for a video shoot.
Yes, that is the plan.
Scripts needed to be rehearsed or anything?
Lee Cole, who is our communications director, is going to be putting together some information. She just wanted me to confirm that you all could do it during that time first, and then she's going to work to get scripts and things together. So I will share the information. It's not going to be too heavily scripted because she does want it to be somewhat organic, but there will be some things, some parts of it that will be scripted, because ultimately it's talking about your experience, and so it'll be somewhat free-flowing from that regard.
And the day before that, Tuesday the 5th, we're meeting at 5:30?
Yeah, 5:30 to 8:30, our regular session. I think that's kind of why I was suggesting that we work on one map per week, and then whatever changes and things that we need to, completions and changes, could be finished up in that last 3-hour session.
Thursday the 7th, what are we doing?
Thursday the 7th is the presentation. So that's similar to the presentation that we did on September 1st, where we presented the maps to the community, same thing.
What time is that?
That'll be at 5:30. If there's no further questions about that, I'll move on to my last point. Seeing none, the last thing is I sent you all an email today in response to the question that you asked last week about the maps and being able to use the maps that you work on at home, with one being a working map when you come into the session. And so I sent forth information from the city attorney and her thoughts, city attorney's general counsel, and her thoughts on it, and what Councilman Marini's team discussed as a compromise, if that is what you all choose to do, is to utilize it as a working map, as one of the maps that you brought from home. I want to open the floor for a brief discussion on that and to see what direction you all want to go with all of those things in mind.
Naya, could you summarize kind of what was discussed? I read the email, but just for clarifications.
Sure. So essentially we discussed, you're meaning my discussion with the city attorney's general counsel? Or with Councilman
Just the recommendation of if we are to pull up a working map.
I'm sorry, one more time, I couldn't hear you.
Just a clarification of recommendations on if and how we pull up one of our individual maps during a meeting.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you. Can you maybe?
Yeah, just go ahead and summarize the whole thing. That'd be great.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was like, I'm having trouble hearing you. But so we spoke with the city attorney's general counsel. She said essentially that you are able to utilize the working map or the map you work on at home as a working map. It's not illegal, but she addressed some of the concerns around that as it relates to open meetings law. One specifically being just making sure that there's not any round robin discussions, meaning, doing something on your own, communicating with me and wanting me to communicate that to someone else as a kind of circumventing the open meetings law. She also talked about the deliberative process, and if someone is working on something at home, is it a true group process in terms of is everyone's thoughts and inputs going into this, or is it the narrative being controlled by the person who created the map, and then just kind of controlling the narrative from that perspective. That was the conversation that she and I had, and then the conversation with Councilman Remi's team was that if we are going to allow working maps to be brought in and working maps at home to be brought in as a working map during a session, that there needs to be an explanation of each district in terms of why certain changes were made or why certain decisions were made, so as to not take it from the deliberative process, and so the public can see kind of how we got from X to Y throughout this process. And so I just open that up to you all to say, what you'd like to do with that in mind. Was that a good summary?
Knowing how many decisions have gone into each of the maps that we've worked on thus far, it seems to me it may take just as long for somebody to explain all the decisions that would have gone into their own personal map as we have available to develop maps. I think I understand the recommendation, but it sure does seem to be a shame that we would need to go through all that in order to use the input that any of us could provide to the body. So,
It seems overkill, but I think we can do it, and we should do it. So, what map are we going to start with tonight?
Commissioner Foster, Commissioner Sarzuela, do you have any input before we move on to the maps?
No, I know that, no, not at this time, sorry.
Yeah, I'm kind of down the middle on it. I can see how it could be a little extra work, or a lot of extra work to have to go through each of the 9 districts that are created off-site. But on one hand, but on the other hand, it might expedite. Because if I can tell you why I did these 9 the way I did them, like the methodology used, then we can dig into each district and look at the cuts. I'm not opposed to that. I think that, especially if we're doing the work off-site, because otherwise, then it's like, what's the point of doing the work off-site if we're just going to come here and deliberate? But on the other hand, I want to make sure that everybody feels like they have input and can really have their say in the maps. So I can see both sides.
Yeah, I would agree. It's certainly better than not being able to introduce them at all, if that was the alternative. So, yeah.
So we started last week with Commissioner Consuelo's plan, right? Matt?
Kind of. I mean, we were referencing it, however,
Yeah,
I mean,
but
like
we
at this
ended up
point, that one's like by the wayside. I'm not even thinking about my last.
Well, do we need to go back and work on that one, or should we start on a new one?
Well, that was it.
Nobody can hear me. My
Commission-
thing's not working.
Oh, I tapped on him before. I can grab you a new one.
I don't think it's working.
No,
It's not on. They don't have charge.
Turn it on.
You want to hand him one of those?
These are
Commissioner?
wired, so.
They're
Oh,
wired.
But yeah, to kind of elaborate on the question, or slightly different question, do we just kick out what we worked on all last week? Because it seemed like we were coming to an end on that map, and we finished that map, and then we maybe bring in one of our external maps to start a second map, or do we just start from one of those and forget the map that we did last week?
Can we take a quick look at the map as we left it last week so we can refresh our memory as to where it stood? I'm not quite sure how much work it would take to whip it into
I wouldn't
the useful
object to
form.
either of them.
Certainly. I think I'll pull up last week's map. I believe that map, there were 3 districts that still needed.
And is that map available to us on this system?
I believe it should be.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't think it is.
I couldn't find it.
I don't remember what it was called.
I will reshare it because I thought that I shared it. Or Melissa was supposed to move them over so you guys could have access to it. You just can't make any changes to it, but you can see it. So I'll double check with her to make sure that that's available going forward.
You said we can't, not even by mistake, right? So it's view only?
Yes.
Okay, that's
it's locked.
perfect. That's perfect.
This is the map from last week. In terms of the numbers, District 1 needed to shrink a little bit.
Whoops, we can't see it.
Oh, sorry. I forgot that I don't have it on the right screen. Sorry, guys.
It's all right.
District 1 needs to shrink by a little bit. District 3 and 4 need to grow a little bit. And District 8 needs to grow a little bit.
And again, that's not available to us on our computer.
I thought that it was when I talked to Melissa, but I will double check with her.
What is it called?
It's called Columbus 2020 Map A because the system glitched last week, and so I had to resave it.
What's it called?
Columbus 2020 Map A.
I don't see that. It's not appearing in our folder.
Okay, I will make sure that that is in your folder by this evening or tomorrow at the earliest.
Can we see the numbers again?
Mm-hmm.
3, 4, under, 9 is way over.
3, 4, and 8.
Yeah, and because I'm like, are they touching each other? Like, how much weight do we have to? No.
Well, there's Columbus 2020 Plan
Yeah, you said it was Columbus 2020 map.
Map A.
Yeah, the other one that I shared in there is the system glitched last week, and so it had to be resaved. And so that one doesn't have all of the data that we did in the last map. Because remember, I was trying to save it and it didn't
A.
save.
Okay.
Right. I'm trying to clarify. Commissioner Cabot pointed out there is a map called Columbus 2020 Plan A, but that's not the same.
Got it.
That's the one that we started last week before it glitched.
Yeah, can you
Okay.
share, or are you able to share like we shared ours with that general folder, or you have to have the lady do it? I'm sorry, Melissa. I'm sorry.
Yeah, can you just save as right now, like a new?
Let me see if it'll save.
Or under the share tab.
Oh, yeah, the shared menu.
Boom. It should be in there now.
Cool. Yeah, it's there. Thank you.
Exit and re-enter.
Columbus 2020.
Okay.
So was there a decision made on whether or not you all wanted to start with this map and keep completing, or move on to map number 2?
I'm willing to do it either way. I don't have an,
Well, this, I mean, we spent a lot of time on this, and it's got how many districts locked in because they fit?
5.
I think we should continue on
Yeah.
this one.
Let's try to finish this one out.
Okay.
so 3, 4, and 8 have to shrink. One has to shrink. 3, 4, and 8 have to shrink.
That's correct. No, 3, yeah, 3, 4, and 8 have to
1 and
they've
9
grown.
have to
One
shrink,
has to shrink.
3, 4, and 8 have to get bigger. Okay.
And District 9 needs to shrink quite a lot.
Can we look at the table once again? Yeah. 9 has to.
So there's 4 that are locked. There's 5 that need to be adjusted.
So one of the things that, as I was playing on with the software this week by myself, and again, came in the predicament of where do I cut districts? Where do I kind of add and subtract when we're talking about smaller amounts? One thing I started toggling with is around precincts, and realized that a lot of my districts were cutting into precincts pretty heavily, especially like when it came around, making district boundaries. So that's something that we could look at as well, because they're just like natural boundaries that are already established, rather than just going street by street where we may not know.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a bad
And when
idea
you
right
say,
here.
when you say that we're cutting districts, you mean we're actually splitting?
Yes, we're splitting
Precincts,
precincts.
rather.
Voting or police?
Yeah, you're talking about voting?
Voting.
Voting
Okay.
precincts. Because the area commission lines didn't follow precinct boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
And street lines don't necessarily, yeah, okay.
that's a good
very
point.
good point.
We don't have a layer with voting precincts.
Yes,
Yeah, we
Yes,
do.
we do.
This is what's on there now. This layer is the voting precincts layer.
Where?
Yeah, the green.
The green.
Got it.
The green grid on top, that's what I've been using on my maps to select.
I know it's a little bit hard to see with this colorful background, but it's there.
So for example, if you go to the southeast corner of District 1, I think that's like kind of, like if you toggle the precinct there, we've cut into a precinct both ways. So for example, that would be an example we could cut into District 1 and put it back in District 4.
Can we easily change the color that is being used to represent the precincts, maybe make it more readily visible somehow?
Let me see if I can do that. I am not certain about that.
You agree that might be helpful, just to visualize where we're doing.
Yes,
It's kind of hard to see otherwise.
the contents, if you right-click on the layer and
Yeah.
do symbology.
What
Bright-
color would be the easiest for you to
Maybe
alter?
bright red.
And then
Just
make it
for the
less
time being,
transparent.
Anyway.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Press, what was that?
Red, but also increase or decrease the transparency.
Yeah.
Should we save this one with a new name? The one where we're gonna make it line up with precincts? Because we're gonna have to end up doing this for the whole, every district, right?
Right, but we're trying to finish this map, right? So,
I guess the bigger question I'm asking is, are we gonna try to make a map fully consistent with precincts? Or are we just gonna do it with a few?
And this is a question I don't necessarily know. As a, like, an election official, I mean, I'm sure they know who would live in which boundary, but I know at the polling location, they poll based on precinct.
Right.
If
Yep.
we don't make this map respect voting precincts, we're gonna create a hell of a problem for the Franklin County Board of Elections.
True.
yep.
So I guess
In
I'm
fact,
saying
they might
that,
just say we can't do it.
right. I did the precincts as kind of a final check in one of the maps that I did this week, and it helped. So I think that that's something we can,
I think to split, or to what you're both talking about, is that I think the most important cuts are where the precincts are most impactful is around the cuts, around the edges of the districts. And
exactly.
so that's where we would need to, we don't need to like change the methodology within the district because it's already in a district.
Right.
But it's the ones that are on the edges.
Yeah, we should deal with intact, complete precincts.
So, I mean, do we want to go ahead and look at the locked districts and just double check those precincts first?
To see if we actually regain perhaps the
Yeah.
population we could use elsewhere.
Makes sense?
But we're still committed to having
9.
districts that are equal by population of
Yeah.
100 and,
I've made 2.5 maps with voting precincts
With
Yeah.
voting precincts?
explicitly. I didn't even look at it the other way. I just used the voting precincts to make the districts.
Yeah.
So why don't we just go ahead and make a map based strictly on voting precincts?
I'm saying that we change this one to that by going around the edges.
Right. We've
And I-
already,
Instead of
And
tossing
I'm
it.
fine with that if we save as, so if we ever have to come back to this map after we've done that.
Chair Moore, I'd like to clarify that we're not making maps based on voting precincts. They are helping
To
determine
determine the
geographic boundaries.
Right,
Yes.
right. I'm with
Where
you.
we already feel comfortable where we've drawn the districts
Yes.
based on characteristics.
Yes, great distinction. I hear it.
All right, so where are we starting?
Right where we are. Where were we? We were at District 1, southeast corner.
That's District 2? Or you mean, are you looking at this district one? But that one's not locked.
Do we want to start with the locked ones and kind of finalize those?
Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
So 2, District 2.
So it's really just a matter of like clicking around the edges and seeing.
I noticed there was also an option to increase the weight of the lines, and maybe that would also help. Would that help anybody else? I think it would help me.
I can't see you.
Yeah, especially for those of us who are a little color challenged, it would be helpful, I think, if we can just crank up the weight on that. It's border weight, yeah. Maybe not that much.
I think that's a Y chromosome challenge. I think that's why it says. No, I honestly do.
Is
So that may help us see where we're definitely either inside or outside of precinct boundaries.
Is that thick enough, or would you want a little thicker?
I think it'll work.
I think that's probably good.
Okay.
So we're in District 2 now, which I can't see.
I'm already, if you go to the airport district, we have cut a precinct.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Cirazza, what was that?
If you go to the airport in District 2, we have split a precinct, if you click that.
Yep, the left side there is still part of the same precinct. That's what you're saying?
Yes, yes.
Yep. So that would cause us to
Yeah.
add population to District 2, which is already pretty balanced, but maybe we.
But for the purposes of the activity, I think we kind of have to.
Or that needs to be part of District 8, which we know that the actual physical airport does not
The
have.
airport only has 101 people,
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that needs to be added to District 8. It
Right.
shouldn't impact District 2 that much.
right?
I would buy that. So to your point, Chair Moore, before we even do that change, should we save this again, or has she already saved it? I'm sorry, I wasn't.
I'm not sure.
Maybe we should go ahead and leave the map we started with today intact and save this as yet another, just in case we need to back out at some point, we can kind of get back to where we were.
Right.
Okay, I think I can just do file save as and create another version of this.
So it's already been saved as map A, right?
That's right.
It,
I'm good.
it has been saved as
So
map.
if we work on it, as we go through our work, then we'll save it as map A .1
Something.
or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Map A V2.
Okay.
Version
Or if we do it
Whatever.
now, we know we're covered with a fail-back position. That's, I think, what Chair Moore was suggesting, that if we save it under a different name now, then we can always
Go
know
back.
we can get back to that
Okay.
same point.
And I'm gonna click out to make sure that it doesn't change the name, that it saves both versions.
Yeah. So it looks like it didn't change the lines. We need to turn those on again.
Do you all see that in your folder now, too?
I'm sorry.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
So should we go ahead and make that change then to assign the blue portion, right, that district right there, or that little chunk of that precinct to District 8?
Yes.
Actually, it looks like, okay, yeah. Can we even select by precinct?
Yes.
Yes,
Let's do that instead of selecting by block. Look, you're currently selecting by block, is that right?
So I'm getting ready to change it.
Oh, okay.
And you want this to go all to District 8?
Yes.
locked.
Yeah.
All right.
So are we proposing that we just kind of continue around District 2 of where it touches another district to,
I think so.
so it looks like we need to look where 2 and 4 touch. And it looks like the only spot is, gosh, I don't know what the dividing line is. Looks like we split a little bit of a precinct. Where is that? South Hamilton and Refugee Road. There's a little bit of blue. Yep. So do we propose that that gets added to District 4?
Can you run your cursor over where it got split now? Right there.
The black line is the split.
Yeah,
And it took it from 4 and put it in 2?
I propose putting that small section of 2 into 4.
Let's go for it.
Okay.
And then it looks like District 2 is, everything else is in check.
But we need 200 more people.
But that is within our margin, right?
Yes.
So even if we didn't find 200 more people would be okay.
No, I could be wrong, but I thought our margin was 100,135 to 101,142.
Our margin of error is 1,006 people plus or minus.
Yep.
So
I just gave you a margin of 1,007 people.
yeah, this District 2 says it's minus 668, so it's in that 1,006.
No, this math is going to be figured out here. So if it's plus or if our margin is 1,006 people, then the plus or minus has to be half of that.
No, it's 1% is either 1,006 below or 1,006 above is the margin of error. That's 1%.
I thought the charter says that the smallest district and the largest district can only vary by 1%.
That's correct. So that 1,006 people either way is 1%.
I think
I think it'll depend on what our final district's
Right.
numbers
Yeah.
are, what that 1% is.
But
Which one's the smallest, which one's the largest. So we
Right.
can't really,
we've been falling in the middle-ish on it so far. That's what we did last time, is we fell in the middle-ish until we got to a
the
complete
smallest
end.
district can be 100,135 people. The largest district can be 101,142 people. That's the 1,006 or 7 people that you said is 1%. So anything smaller than 100,135 doesn't work. Anything larger than 101,142 doesn't work.
The target of the district is 100,639 people, I believe, 100,639 people.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I said, I believe that if the districts were split exactly even, the number is 100,639 people.
Okay?
So the 1% is plus 1 or minus 1, plus 1 or minus 1. And so when we did it last time, that's how the integrity check did it, and it ruled it as equal, and we were within that plus 874 or minus 874 in our last iteration of the first maps.
I think you're both right. I'm just thinking, though, that the best way for us to spend our time is looking at the large deviations and then go back perhaps and do some fine tuning, rather than try to get each district right within that variation or that deviation one by one.
Okay.
I mean, we'd probably accomplish the same thing either way, but I think it might be less painful if we start with the ones that are way out of balance and come
It's
back
all
and...
painful to me, so go ahead, go wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
I will
So-
just tell you at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you can't have a district smaller than 100,135, and you can't have a district larger than 101,142.
Okay.
It's a wall we're gonna run into sooner or later, but we're gonna run into it, yeah.
And again, I think you've indicated there's some built-in checking in the software that'll bring our attention to that particular issue at the end of the day. But for now, I'm wondering if we shouldn't look at some of the other districts and continue this process of aligning them with precinct boundaries. So we've got District 2 aligned as far as precincts, I think. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yes.
So should we look at District 4?
And can we lock 2 again? Are we okay with the number?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Should we look at District 5?
District 5's fine, too.
That one's locked.
What are the numbers for 1 and 6? Not to move there, to see what we can push or pull.
District 1 has 104,101 people. District 6 has 101,198 people.
Cool, so when we're looking at balancing or adjusting we pull into 5 rather than take out of 5 from 1 and 6, based on those numbers?
Yes.
Yes.
Not like unilaterally, but just kind of as we're looking at it. Yep.
But 5, 6, and 7 are currently locked because they're currently within their...
We're gonna have to unlock, because
Right. I'm
yeah.
sure of that, but I was just saying, just for your notes, those are the ones that you guys had locked last time, because they're in the right position.
So voting precinct 10B straddles 2 districts.
Where's that?
Where is that at?
Yeah, where is that at?
It's the top of District 5, the bottom of District, the left of District, actually, it may be 3 districts.
It is. So we're a little higher, I think, where 1, 6, and 5 come together, right around there.
Yeah, so that, right?
Right here?
Yep.
Yeah, just above there,
Here.
left.
All around the edge, there's gonna
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, just,
Yeah,
yeah, if you click on it.
If you identify that as a precinct, it'll show you.
Yeah. And then just, well, let's see, maybe I'm looking somewhere else, but I found a couple of others, too.
Right. So I think with all of those ones
They all have to be.
in District
All
1.
right. So not that one, the one to the right of that, right there.
Yeah, so that all should go into 5?
Yeah. And then actually,
The one right below it too.
the precinct just south of that has the same issue.
Do we pull that into 1? Or is that,
1 is up by 3,400 people.
oh, no, I'm sorry.
And then we're talking.
5 and 6 have, 5 has 100,643, 6 has 101,198.
We're talking about like Dublin Road corridor right now.
Yeah.
What is, so it's not a high population is what I'm saying.
Yeah, the density is pretty low there.
Can that precinct go to District 5?
Let's just add it. See what it does.
Just need to make sure we don't introduce non-contiguity again along.
Yeah.
So if that precinct approximates the Dublin Road corridor, it's got 156 voters in it. That seems like small for a precinct, but
I just want to point out that District 6 is now non-contiguous moving.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
because that precinct needs to go to District 5 as well.
Yes, that's another one that has the same issue.
Yep.
To District 5?
Mhm.
Yep.
And then there's 2 to the north. There's still that little blue, yeah. Can you identify that precinct? Oh. So that one, would that go to 1?
10A.
Let's see. I don't. So here's the thing, it doesn't look like the precinct is contiguous to itself.
It doesn't. And this might be one of those examples where, yes, we're trying to maintain the fidelity of precincts by and large, but like there's some where the precinct is split by a major highway or by something like that. And so that might be a place where we deviate slightly. But in this being one of those cases, like the one on the right might be District 1 and the one on the left might be District 5.
But I don't think the Board of Elections can split the voters in a precinct.
I think you're right.
Into different districts. Now, again, for our purposes, it doesn't matter because everybody in the city's voting for everybody.
First of all, yes, definitely.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then
I
that
mean,
wasn't
I
part
was-
of the
I
charge
spent-
given.
I spent the afternoon with the Ohio Fair Districts people looking at maps for congressional districts, and so I'm sorry, I got to transition. Yes, so the precinct is a good thing to think about, and I'm glad we did, but we aren't going to cause any problems for the Board of Elections because they're going to have everybody vote for everybody.
Not in the primary. Well,
Yeah, because it's at
Yeah,
large.
at both the primary and general election, it's at-large elections.
The only
thing-
The only matter it's going to matter is if somebody's running, they're going to have to make sure that their house is in the right place, but they can do that. Somebody can do that.
That, and it
So-
has 250 signatures from that district.
I'm sorry, I was too excited about the Board of Elections and making their
But
job easier.
I still,
Now, 3 years down the road, when they amend the
Different
charter
story.
again and they actually elect people from these districts, it's going to be another matter.
that's right. And I'm wondering if it might not be worth our time to try to get aligned anyway, since we know we need to move populations around to meet our numeric objectives. Maybe that would be one way to do it. And if we can achieve consistency with precinct boundaries, that would probably be a good thing anticipating the future. Of course, by then, maybe precinct boundaries will have changed. Who knows?
I mean, sometimes, like, I mean, the precincts matter a lot for the, like, Board of Elections and that kind of thing. But, like, there was a time where for 5 years, I lived across the street from a voting precinct and had to go blocks away to a different precinct. And so it's not always common sense to the residents. And then also, it wasn't part of the specific charter charge that we've received. And so that's just kind of where I'm at.
That's true, too.
Okay, another rabbit hole.
So here's a question. Should we continue with this process or not? Because I see another precinct that we haven't adjusted. and
There's a whole bunch around the edges
Yeah.
of this, but I mean, that's going to happen because we weren't looking at this as a criteria until this moment.
That's right.
And so that's a question, do you want to proceed with it, or should we?
You know, not for this map. You build a map on precincts, so when we do that,
Right.
let's
introduce
start
your
with
map.
yours.
Let's do that.
But let's go back to this one, not worry about fixing all these precincts, just try to get population right.
Okay.
I like that plan.
So we're going back to A version 1 or whatever? Map A?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that and recalibrate.
I will save this in the case that you want to come back to this map at any point in time. It's
Yep.
there, and it's also in your shared folder.
Yep.
But I do think precincts are helpful when thinking about having to add, I got to add 1,000 people.
Right,
Yeah.
No, I agree.
right, right.
I'm glad you
Especially
pointed it out.
better perhaps dealing in precincts rather than blocks, census blocks, which
Yes.
are quite tiny.
Right.
Maybe we'll get a little closer with a larger unit, so, yeah. Okay, so we're back to map A.
Can you refresh us on the movements necessary or where we're at with numbers?
Sure. So in District 1, 104,101, you need to move about 3,000 people-ish. District 3 and 4 need to grow. District 8 needs to grow, and District 9 needs to downsize. It's over by about 8,000 people.
3, 4, 8, grow, 1 and 9.
You have 4 districts currently locked. Yeah.
I'm sorry. 3, 4, 8 grow, 1 shrinks, right?
1 and 9.
1 and
1 and 9, yeah, thank you, Commissioner Frost.
And unfortunately, the ones that need to shrink, I'm sorry, the ones that need to grow the most are not contiguous with the one that needs to shrink the most. Wouldn't be that easy, you know?
No.
Or adjacent to, I should say, not contiguous. So. So since District 8 needs to grow somewhat significantly, and it is contiguous, or I'm adjacent to, I'm sorry, District 3, which also needs to grow, I would propose that we start by looking at moving some population from District 9 to District 8. Does that make sense?
I mean, when you look at it, but then when you start thinking about the public comments, right? So we're saying take them from 9 and put them in 8?
And, yeah, and then you'll have to take from 8 to put into 3.
Right.
So it's just going to have to shift it east.
Let's do it to see what we get.
Where do you want to start cutting at?
Purposes of this map, do we want to try to keep South and North Linden together?
You said South and North Linden together?
Yes. Like I'm saying, we shouldn't touch the southernmost portion of District 8.
Unfortunately, that's where all the population is.
Yeah, but I think last week when we looked, we found no clear dividing line down there.
Yeah.
So here's what I think. District 4 needs to grow, and it's not contiguous to any of these other districts that need adjustment. Is that correct?
Looks correct.
So let's see where we can build District 4 up, and then we'll see and then the domino effect will take place. But there's no place that needs to lose population. There's actually no place that needs adjusted that's adjacent to District 4, so where can we get some more people for District 4?
True.
I'm sorry, excuse me, Commissioner, District 1 has 104,101, and that is right next to
great.
District 4.
That's
So we can start in that
great.
corner.
Yep.
Let's do that.
This corner,
What road is that? I feel like we've done this before.
that road is East Livingston Road,
Oh, no, we haven't. We have?
or Avenue, excuse me.
Yeah, because this is Driving Park.
Deschler Park, Fairwood Park.
Yeah,
Driving
like the
Park right
neighborhood,
here.
Driving Park neighborhood. Yep.
Yeah, you all, last week, you all started cutting back into this District 4 from District 1. This street is Whittier, Sycamore, Forest. Just to give you some familiarity, this is like all, I think German Village areas, kind of, sort of.
What's that red line running north and south?
This is,
No, over to the left, on the left of where it's at, the rectangle, to your right now, and
this one?
Is that
Yeah.
Fairwood or Lockbourne?
This is Parsons.
Oh, that's way further.
So
I mean-
we have the South Side Commission split between 1 and 4. What if we put the rest of the South Side into 4? Would that get us where we need to go?
let's try it.
I think that's going to be too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be too much.
If you,
Do we want to, do y'all want me to see it and then just undo it if it's too much?
Yep.
Okay. That takes District 4 to 109,482.
Okay.
Yeah.
so if you add the driving park precincts and you go up to the Broad Street and like that little chunk over there and add those precincts back into District 4, I've got it pretty much perfect. If we want to go that route.
Let's go that route.
So undo this
Yeah.
and add. What precinct?
It's basically the driving park.
35A?
Fairwood is the north and south. And Livingston.
Does it show up under the voting precincts, just to make sure? Okay.
Mhm. So if you just like click the areas over there, it'll. Yep, so that all should be 4. The one to the left of it. Yep. And then north. Yep. And the one to the right. And then if you go to that, like the sliver of the district by Broad Street, so you're gonna have to zoom out.
Broad Street. Is it here?
No, zoom out. You
Oh.
gotta go to a different part of the district.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Do we want to get a check on population before we?
I've got it pulled up here.
Okay.
So up here?
Nope, go to the right where District 4 is currently. Yep, and then hit that precinct. That should be District 4. And then the one to the left of it.
This one?
Yep. And then pull the numbers.
You said go north?
No, just pull the numbers for the district.
Oh,
It should be
okay, I'm
perfect.
sorry.
Nicely done.
100,770.
Nice.
Yep. Okay.
Shall I lock District 4?
Commissioner Cabot, are you satisfied with that? That was your suggestion we start at 4, so it seems to have done the trick, huh?
Yeah,
So now, you'll need to grow District 1 just a little bit.
Yep.
District 3 needs to grow by about 3,000. District 8 needs to grow by about 3,000. And District 9 has 108. So you need to feed into 1 and 3.
And 8.
One touches 9, 3 does not. Just for
And does 8 touch 9?
8 does touch 9.
Okay. Got it. And 3 needs to go up how much? I'm sorry.
3,000.
Okay.
3,000.
Yeah, so it's like we're gonna have to, still, this is back to the before, like we're gonna have to balloon 8 to pull it on the other side from 3. And 8 itself also needs to grow. So 8 needed what, like 1,000? Oh, goodness.
3,000. So
So
essentially
6,000 from
6,000.
9 needs to move into 8, and then half of that needs to move off the other side to, cool. Ooh.
We're putting from 9 into 8, and then 8 into 3? Is that what we said?
That's what we have to do.
9 into 8, 8 into 3, and District 1 still needs a little bit as well, just so you know.
That might be an easy place to start if we could just knock one off the list by cheating up, like north into 9,
Yep.
and then figure out how we move 6,000 people from center to the east.
I think that's a good approach.
And this,
So we're going to start at the, oh,
okay.
so we're growing 9 and shrinking 8?
We are growing 1 and shrinking 9 in this particular move.
Okay.
Do we take 1 up to 11? How many people do we need? Not that many people.
In one, you only
We
need
don't need that
like
many people.
a
Okay.
couple hundred people.
So there are several voting precincts that straddle 1 and 9.
I don't think we want to go there.
So like that first one, like where your cursor just was, like that one, can we just go ahead and pull that into District 1? And then if we go to the left, like we're,
So if you just click where you're at, you'll be in the middle of a precinct that straddles both districts.
where's the cursor?
Would you like me to click it?
Are you identifying precincts?
I'm not.
Yeah,
Would
if
you like
you
me to do that?
identify precincts, it'll show you there's a precinct there that straddles both districts. See?
Yeah, put that into 1, right?
Yeah.
That gets you to 100,915.
And then left of that, there's another one, just like it.
Right.
And then that north-south is High Street, so yeah, that seems fine.
Let's sign this one.
Now has the number.
It might
That's
have
right
pushed
on.
us.
That takes it.
Yeah,
That's
pushed
very
us.
populous precinct.
It's campus.
Yeah, to 103,000, so that gets you above.
Too much?
Too much.
So just do one of those two. I mean, and take the other one and put it all the way up into 9.
Yeah, that one's already in 9, so it'll stay in
Part
9.
of it is, but part of it's.
Oh, you mean put all of this in 9?
Yeah.
Part of it, all. I mean, again, if we're
Oh,
going to
the
be
other way around.
Be consistent.
Just assign it to
respecting
9.
precincts,
Yeah.
see what that does.
No slips.
No, the other way.
No. Why did it do
I'm
that?
sorry, I misspoke.
Oh, that's why. Oh, source district, any district. That's what
District
I'm doing
4.
wrong. District 9. District 1, 100,311. District 9, 107,000. So District 1 is still okay if it's
Yep.
there.
Yeah, I say we lock it. Unless you guys want to look around it to see.
Looks good.
So you have roughly 7,000 people that you can move from District 9, which falls in line with your other plan that you had discussed.
So into District 8?
So you want to lock one?
I will.
So, come up with a sensible suggestion here. What if we were to move the western boundary of District 8 over, in effect, to Indianola, which is that north-south street, rather than following the railroad tracks? And then take that triangle, that's right, basically all the way down, see where that puts us.
Yeah, that's a precinct to the right.
How far down?
Further north or further south?
So if you just move south and east of that, you'll find a precinct that straddles both districts, right there.
That one and the one, yeah, if you do that one,
Okay, assigned to District 8.
So we're going to assign that to 8?
yeah. And if we go back up to the west, like the north of Morse, east of High area, the 2 precincts up there, if we add those, it gets us pretty much to our target. That one,
Assigned to 8.
yes, and the one above it.
Everything old is new again. We did that before, for
I
a different
know.
reason, but,
Yeah. But
Yeah.
that should be on target then. For 8.
That gets 8 to a perfect place,
So we need to add 3,000 more?
but there still needs to be that additional and 3 on the other side. 3 has 97,559.
so before we look, though, at locking 8, is there somewhere else that we can move population out of 9, or do we need to move more into 8 and then perhaps move it somewhere else?
It looked like based on, because 3 isn't touching anything but 8.
Right.
And so we have to push through 8 to add the population.
Okay.
Unless there's somewhere further south that we're not seeing that it is touching somewhere else? No, okay,
So,
Yeah.
but 3 and 9 are the only ones we need to change, right?
right.
That's correct.
But to do that, we have to change 8.
Right. So
Yeah.
Yep.
we Need to eat into 8 and give it to 9.
Other way around, take 3,000 from 9 to give to 8.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
So the question, where do we want to grow 3? Where does it make sense to grow it? Like, I know, I mean, we'll get the numbers right, but it's, how do we want that district to look?
I feel like I know that there was some commentary about the length or the breadth of the districts. And so maybe it's that like 3 expands more on the its northwest part. And so 8 is the one that does travel further instead of pulling 3 down like that. We have 2 parallel districts. Or at that point, it'd be 3 in a row because 9 is parallel pretty much.
So what if we took the entire northeast area commission out of 8 and put it in 3? That's 23,000 people. That's way too many. Never mind.
no, we've got to move almost 3,000, or a few more than 3,000.
Huh?
We have about 3,000 people we need to move, so.
Okay.
If you add 1 precinct in the uppermost northeast corner of District 8, it gets us, there's 3,000 people in that precinct. Of District 8,
You're talking around Forest Park?
yeah.
What precinct is that?
Um, 54A.
Okay.
I do have to say, though, since that's my home district, it really does go a long way out of our original premise, which is we wanted to try to keep like areas together. Forest Park has a lot in common with its neighbors, but moving it to District 3, I think, really kind of goes out of bounds. I don't know that there's a better choice, but
I'm sorry. There is, if you look around Morris, there's like a little triangle that is a voting precinct that straddles both 3 and 8. His precinct 42D. It's right at just south of Morris. There's like a funny little, yeah. See that triangle that's poking out of 8 that kind of tips into 3?
Yeah.
So maybe we try that,
Yep.
if that's, yeah,
It
more
gets
comfortable.
us- Then we're only 1641 off. if we add
Where do you see the population for precincts when you're looking at this?
I don't, I
Oh.
just add it and then,
Yeah,
Respect.
they weren't showing up.
So what is it that you would like?
So that precinct,
The one that's highlighted?
nope, there's the triangle, that's,
That
that
one.
one, yep. That would go into District 3. That's all I had.
That gets you to 98,998.
Sweet, we're only like 600 off now. For 3, District 3.
Now, I'm not seeing in my local copy any of the changes you've made. Is it possible to either refresh my view of this plan? Or have you saved those changes?
Not until she saves it, I don't think.
I can save it and I can click save now and you can let me know if it shows up once I save it again. I haven't been saving, I've just been making the changes.
Okay. I'm not seeing anything that says refresh, but I'm sure there's a way to do it.
There's a precinct around Northern Lights that is on just west or east of Northern Lights. If you go south of where we just were,
Right,
yep, that one, right there. The majority of it is in District 3 already,
right.
so I propose we move it. And then where do we end up?
99,439.
200 more people.
Commissioner Paul, since I saved it, can you see now?
Yeah, I haven't seen any change here.
You might have to exit out of it and then reopen it.
Yeah. Let's see, open plan. No, I'm still seeing the original numbers. Now, I'm opening it from our shared folder. Is that where I should be?
Yeah, but I don't know that it will upload in real time until I save and close it, so that's what I'm not sure if I can find that out.
Okay, well,
I mean, not tonight, but I can find it out
Yeah.
for future.
So precinct 25H straddles 8 and 3. It is Sunbury Road and Mock, south of Mock, west of Sunbury Road.
Right here? That's Mock
Oh,
Road
yeah,
right
that's
there.
25H.
Okay. And that's the one you said, 25H, correct?
Yep.
Okay. And you want to assign this to District 3?
Let's try it.
That gets District 3 to 100,505.
Looks great.
You're good. So shall I lock District 3?
yep.
Yeah,
Now I just need to add from District 9 into District 8. And we have a map.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so there is a District 17A. It is
Yep.
right around, just towards the bottom, go up to,
it's
I'm
going to
sorry.
be the fairgrounds,
it's 17A. It says they vote at Linden Community Center.
right?
And I'm sorry, it's right north of the fairgrounds. So if you go back down south from where you are, you can see District 1 in the picture, so it's further south.
Okay. Also, I don't know exactly where the fairgrounds is at on the map.
Yeah, so if you zoom in, There's the fairgrounds where you're touching, the next district up. Go up one precinct from you
Here?
to your, to the left, or to the right? It's the one that kind of straddles over 71, that one. Yep. That is 17A?
That is 17A.
Yeah.
And what would you like to do with that one?
If there are no objections, I would say move it into District 8.
It's
Is it
already in
not?
District 8.
It's already in District 8.
Oh, I'm looking at an old map version, I guess.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking
That's-
at the old map
'Cause-
too.
Yeah, it's
That's
it is
why I
not
was
assigned.
hoping to be able to refresh the view.
So
Yeah.
the one below that is the Expo Center, you might as well move that in.
The entire thing?
Oh,
That's-
no, that.
Or just the
I'm sorry,
remaining?
that precinct comes down into District 1 too.
That goes, I
I need
mean,
to refresh.
yeah. That would go into Milo Grogan, and I don't know,
So the Ohio Expo Center is a voting precinct that extends further down into District 1. So it probably ought to go ahead and be into District 1 because the Ohio Expo Center only has 10 people. So it would just make the precincts correct.
No opposition. Commissioner Paul, if you refresh or exit out and exit back in, you can see the updates on the most recent safe.
Okay, so how are you refreshing?
I just like reloaded the tab and re-signed in and everything because I don't know how to close a map.
Okay,
No kidding.
I'll try it. I haven't had any luck
This is a
yet.
very powerful thing, but it's still got some clunky edges.
Yeah, looking at
District 1 now has 100,321 people.
still okay.
Yep.
Okay, and then where did 8 go? Did anything change? Oh no, it would have not helped. Never mind.
No, 8 still needs 3,000 people.
Well, 8 and 9 still need some work.
Is there any logical, I mean, I know we've been going around this multiple times today, but is it like, can we look at Summit as a north-south, 4th maybe? To think about where we can pull it, because like there's a big part of 4th, or most of 4th is on District 9 right now, so.
I think you're thinking about what I was thinking about earlier, that if we can, I think Summit is logical as a divide if we need to take a chunk of something.
It's a whole bunch of people.
So you want like this area right here to go into 8?
As logical as anything else.
Can we, let's see,
The
can we
part-
see precincts associated with that? The voting precincts?
That one crosses over Summit.
Yeah, they cross
They-
over.
All of, well, a good one. This one doesn't cross over Summit. This one is aligned directly with Summit.
As you continue
Start with
north,
that.
do they tend to be east of Summit? It looks like they do.
Perfect.
That
till
one goes
down.
across Summit.
Yeah, not
But
so
the
much.
first two
First
very well
two,
could
at
have the
least.
population we need.
Yeah.
You want me to assign this to District 8?
Sure. See what happens.
Should I do both?
Yeah.
$100,000.
Wow.
Okay. I've had enough.
We can lock all of them. And that's a map.
That's a map.
That is a
Not
map.
a rap, a map.
can you zoom out? Let's see the final product.
What's the orange thing at the bottom?
Unassigned.
What is it?
Unassigned.
Unassigned.
But what is it? Is it a landmass? It is. Is it?
Doesn't look like it has any people in it.
So the city of Columbus still owns that?
It's part of our airport system,
Have-
Really?
Avery, when you were doing your map, in the southwest corner, there's a little block.
square that will not be assigned because it's not touching nothing.
It literally is in the middle of nowhere.
I'm like, are you city planner? And then it kept dinging me on my integrity check. I'm like, I can't do anything about that.
Right.
Yes, I would try to assign it, and then it would say, you're wrong. And then I unassigned it and said, well, now I have something unassigned.
Infinite loop.
But there's no people there. There are no City of Columbus residents there. It doesn't impact your number whatsoever. It's just a weird.
That is
So do we
weird.
want to move on to map number 2?
Yep.
Is it possible to do any error checking easily before we move on, just in case we need to go back and tweak something?
It's possible. It has to run through a series of checks, so I would save that for the last meeting, for the integrity checks.
Okay.
Because that's going to be the simpler part of the thing instead of getting the maps done. Because we have next week and the remainder of this week,
Yeah,
and then that last week to get another 2 maps done, so.
okay.
Okay.
And we're off.
Avery, what do you got?
Oh, yeah. You're
Yeah, I'm saying we can look at either the AF1 or AF2, up to you guys. And I'll explain what I did, whenever. 1 is fine.
Okay.
I can tell you now, based on the check, there are a couple of things that have to be fiddled with, but it's nothing too crazy.
AF1?
F1.
This one right here?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so when I was designing this map, I started at the northernmost tippy-top part of Columbus with District 1, and it just started coming down based on commentary and population as I got into the number range that I was looking for. And then if I was having a hard time with the number range, so where you see it immediately went to crap, because I was like, ooh, what if we could do just lines right across? Immediately threw that out the window with District 3, because there was no way to get the Rocky Fork part in the way we needed to. And so when I was looking at it, I looked at Columbus communities, I looked at voting precincts, and I was listening or thinking about the commentary we were hearing. So to the best of my ability, I kind of try to keep that in mind, but I really was sticking to the data on it. And so I know that there may be some places where you're like, nope, but I was trying to give us totally different cuts that we hadn't thought of yet.
good.
So that way we had something to work with. But they're all within the deviation. And there's a couple that are not connected, because I see that I missed 1 square in District 1 that needs to be District 2. So that gets fixed, but as far as the methodology, that is what I did. So if we wanted to start looking at District 1 at the top, maybe, or 9 at the bottom, don't matter, but.
And so the portion of, well, the 2 pieces of District 2 that are not contiguous, that was just an error? Okay, all right. It wasn't part of your methodology.
Definitely not.
Okay.
And then like when I ran the first integrity check, there was some stuff that wasn't contiguous, so I had to fiddle with it. So this is after a couple integrity checks.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Okay.
Commissioner Paul, first reactions of how Northland is split.
It's interesting.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
From an historical perspective, as many of you know, there has often been a discussion of extending Bethel Road to connect with Morse Road. It will probably never happen in our lifetimes, but in a way, this almost implements that we're sort of a band across.
It's like I've never heard that debate before.
Yeah.
Not a North Sider.
Understanding the choices we need to make, I don't hate it, put it that way.
I'll take it.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it works.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if we look at, it is, some of the cuts are funny, like that little dip down into District 2.
Where
From
one
one?
goes into.
Yeah, I didn't know how to
Kind of
fix
makes
it.
sense, though, based on everything we've looked at and talked about. it makes as much sense as the other cuts. Is there a contiguity issue or no?
I was just gonna ask, did it ding you on contiguity for this particular space, just because it's kind of cutting this district in half by District 1?
Right.
And this is a piece that you were saying that you needed to click a block, okay.
Oh, that's where we need a block to establish
It needs to be fixed, yeah, because it's, as you see, the base there, it's not contiguous.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask
Yeah.
about.
And so the way that I really was just looking at it was those blocks just extend to up, so it's uniform across.
So do you want to fix that issue while we have it open?
Great summary of it, too.
I was
So-
preparing while we were working.
And which blocks were you seeing going?
Oh, so up into that black line, Dublin Granville Road. So if we took that pink part up to Dublin Granville,
Do we have to go that far? We need that many?
not for, well, for contiguity possibly. So if we
Gotcha.
start at the most southern piece,
Yeah. Like that wouldn't
so
be
that
enough?
far probably is enough. Because it starts fiddling with, magically still though, not a lot of population change.
Yep. And that is the Salem Civic Association neighborhood, which is very much an active group in Northland, so I like keeping them in traditional Northland.
All right.
I think they'd expect to be kept in traditional Northland.
Like,
Would you like me to go any further up?
oh,
Can you? Let's see
I
if
can.
we.
like
if
as
we
far as
start-
for the
That's-
neighborhoods.
The density is low there, so you may be able to go all the way up to 161.
That block
Maybe not.
takes it too far.
Yeah, maybe not,
So
okay.
reverse that
If you
last
go all the
block.
way up to 161, you're in Worthington, right?
Not at that point, you're at.
That's High Street,
Sinclair.
right? Oh, that's Sinclair.
Yeah, we're still
Sinclair.
south of
Yep.
161.
So with this, you're still in harmony.
Cool.
I believe it.
From, again, just purely the perspective of those neighborhoods, I think that works.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to save this as your map too?
Well,
Yeah.
Or do you want to see the rest of the districts first?
Well,
I
let's
didn't-
look at the numbers. One of District 9's only 99,000, right?
But it's still within the
It's still within the
Margin.
1,006.
1%.
Oh, your margin, not mine.
I'm going with this computer. But we can look at that. Like if we look at
'Cause the
District 9,
smallest-
is there anywhere we can add a little bit? So everything's at 100,000 at minimum?
So again, the district numbers are different than last time around, so I need to figure out what the
I
numbers.
apologize. So District 9, based on the methodology, will be towards the south. It will be the southernmost district.
Gotcha.
And District, what was the? Yeah, so if we're looking, I mean, it could take from the hilltop area, the southeasternmost portion of it maybe, just like A block, or on the other side flip, if we're trying to get them all at 100,000.
So the difference between your smallest and largest district is 1,615 people.
1,600, so that's if we have, oh, that would be too much, based on that, because 1% is 1,000 people.
1,007.
It's hard to, so if we add people to 9, that would help offset.
So again, I'm just for future reference, as you're building these maps, the target deviation needs to be less than 503 people.
Oh, I see what you're saying, because that's the 1% split,
Yeah, it's
is
either
500
side.
on either way,
Right.
rather than 1,000 either way,
Right.
because that's 2%.
Right.
I see.
What was that median number you said?
So the target deviation number cannot be greater than 503 or less than minus 503.
And we have several outside of that range.
On everything we're
Positive
doing.
and
Yeah.
negative side, yeah.
But when you did the integrity check about for the 1%, did it clear or
said-
did it not clear it?
It kept not clearing because it was saying I wasn't at 1%, but I was like, I am at 1%, but maybe it's because I wasn't reading it that way.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because I was like, it cleared last time when we measured it the other way. That we,
Okay.
So that's
I'm
why
not sure.
I'm just a little bit confused by that, but.
Yeah, me too. I don't really, yeah, math thing is not my thing. But based on those numbers, districts 4 and 6 and 9
Yeah.
are too big.
And
Even
two-
one by 8.
And 2 is too small by 40 people.
Okay.
But it's a good start.
So do we want to clean this up and go with
Let's
Matt
do-
too?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's get this one to 1%.
Agreed.
I like this map because I think, to your point, Commissioner Frost, this is a different way to look at things, and I think it's a different way to gather comments.
Yeah.
And it's also how people move. It reflects how we move. Yep.
Sweet. All right, so if we start south to north, looking at District 9,
And 9 needs to,
needs to shrink by about 100 people, 150 people.
and things adjacent to 9 need to do
I'm
what?
sorry, 9 needs to
9 needs
grow
to
by
grow.
150
grow.
people. I apologize. It's negative.
And those around it need to do what?
District 8 is right at the money,
Right.
which is the one right to its northeast. I'm sorry, it's right to the northeast, yes. And then District 7, which is to the northwest of District 9, that's the hilltop area,
It's just fine.
is fine too, but it has about a 300 wiggle. It's at 280, negative 287. So there's a little wiggle, but District 8, there is not too much wiggle, unless we're adding to it.
6 has to shrink a little.
Yep.
Yeah, why don't we just go block by block? There's like a portion of, it looks like Southern Orchards that we can,
So that's at the northern portion of 9.
yeah.
Is it currently District 6 that you're talking about?
Yep, we're
Cool.
6 and 9. When 6 kind of jets down into Southern Orchards.
Mm-hmm. And that was one of those blocks situations, but I could easily cut at Livingston.
Yep.
Or, I mean, we could do, because like right now you kind of cut into Forest. So do we want to go all the way down Forest to see if that makes a clean cut and see how many people that adds?
Oh, yeah, I'm not opposed. That was just one of those funny voting
Yeah.
precincts that was shaped that way.
Okay.
So whichever way you guys want to go.
I don't know how many people are in the precinct.
Okay, I did find one precinct that if it's moved, gets us down to a deviation of 497 for District 9.
This is
And
439.
keeps,
Oh, so switching that precinct instead of cutting this precinct is what you're suggesting?
let me just make sure I didn't, hang on one second. But, no, that's not going to work. Never mind.
Well, District 9, based on adding from Forest, is fine now.
I vote to lock 8 and 9, or 9 and then 8 as well.
We got 9 where we needed it.
9 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
What about 7?
I mean, it's in the range,
Why not?
yes. 6 and 7
Yep.
and 5.
What, District 4?
Yeah, so what is 4? Let's not lock anything till we see where we have to.
4 needs to
pull.
shrink some,
Yeah.
right?
Just a little.
District 4 is like kind of center north
We know where we can shrink 4.
over here,
Over, where'd you say, like, right where it connects to 4?
where it's connecting the 3 that jut up
Yep. Yep.
there.
Put that in 3.
You have to, I think 4 is locked.
You might want to check your numbers, maybe over.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's way too much. Do you want me to undo that? And just, because it'll undo it block by block, so we can take back.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, yeah, you just undo it all, because we'll have to go back the other way. So if we cheat it, starting from the north down, so we see where we're at. And then there's those 2 blocks that are south of 3, that, those ones, like those, so first, yeah, start there. Just for cleanliness, those 2 on the left,
These ones?
the ones, yeah, those 2. Where does that take us? Oh, too much, okay.
Yep, we're already too much.
Then it would be take those 2, but then move the other 2, but like that one needs to be district, the other color.
That one to be District, to be
4.
District 4 again.
Yeah, and then the 2 on the outside go to District 3.
Could live with that.
We still need to take 4 down a little bit. That next one down from where you just were, there. And the next. What was the number?
503.
Oh, man.
100, 135 to 101, 142.
But 503, plus or minus?
Yes, 503 plus or minus.
Okay, we gotta lose 30 or 40 people. So if we zoom, oh yeah, okay, so where you're at to the right, there's a portion of the green that dips down into the red. So just go with me. So if we made that uniform and see where we're at, and then delete at the top
Yeah, I'm with you.
to clean it up. So those blocks would be 4, District 4. Okay, now where do we end up? Cool. And then so that funny L shape that we had took out and re-added, that one, if we make that District 3, what happens? Come on, 503.
Almost.
Not bad.
Not quite. We're getting there.
So one of those top squares would move from District 4 into District 3 to get to the number. I don't care. Contiguity, if you go to the left, maybe? I mean, that's already a funny little square, so it maybe doesn't matter. I'm sorry. I don't have a perspective here.
I'm only
Being a
gonna
little
pass those in.
OCD, but that's okay.
Right, at this point, if you take either one, the top left, take that one. Okay, and I'll take just take the next one. Hey, that did it.
Awfully close.
Almost. One more. Oh my goodness. That's crazy making.
Take the last one just to make it even.
Yep. Okay, now where do we put something back into 4? And District 1 needs to lose 8 people, or gain 8 people, for the record.
District 1, gain 8.
It needs to gain 8 people because it's at negative 511.
Uh-huh.
That doesn't help here. I just noticed it when we saw the numbers.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
And 4 needs to,
District 4 needed to lose what?
small, yeah.
District 3 needs to lose or move. 170
If we can get
people.
200 people out of there, we'll be in good shape.
170 people from 4.
From 3 to 4? Is that right? I'm at the point where my brain is mushy.
Yeah, I don't know what I just said. I think I just said 170 need to leave 4, right?
You need, yeah,
No, you
100,
need to leave
170 need to leave 3.
170 need to leave 3. Take
Okay.
the airport out of 3. No.
The airport?
No, I was joking.
I was like, wait.
What does District 6 look like right now on number? Because 4 is fine.
District 6 is 453.
It's almost safer, it might not make as much sense, but it's almost safer to put the extra, it doesn't matter. But 6 could gain, is what my point was, is that 6 could gain, and 4 is already over. Not over, but it's over it's at 200 and something, and 6 is at negative 400 and something. That's all I was saying with that point. And we might find an easier block to shift.
It's 3 that has the
6
extra,
was
not 4.
already a surplus, wasn't it? I thought
No,
6 was.
6 has 4 plus 453.
It was negative 453?
No, plus, I believe.
Oh, yep, never mind. Forget everything I just said. But I've confused myself further. All right, if we dig in.
I see that master again, the master table.
So what if we just try adding one of those blocks that's west of the park that you changed previously? Before we
Over here?
did more work up north. Go west of the park.
The highway park, is that the park you're talking about?
That's right, that's where
Okay.
I mean. It sure be nice if we could just see the population in that block, but I guess there isn't a way to do it.
We could here.
4, 3 is
Just need
still a
3
little high.
is,
Still need a little more.
So
yeah.
then that next northern block from where you just were, that one?
Still a little more.
Not quite enough, huh? Yep, take it. See
Works
what
for me.
happens. Ah, too far. It's really inconsiderate of those folks to
To live there. The nerve of
The, what, the skinny block on the other side of the park?
That,
Are there people in that block, the right to where you are?
Right
Yeah,
here?
there? Yeah.
yeah,
And as far as the,
That creates a contiguity issue between District 3, though. This is connecting.
yeah.
them.
I hate this. Okay, go back. Zoom
Well,
out,
again.
please. Like, where else do we have edges that we can look at instead of right here?
This is touching. And that's the only one that's touching.
It needs to go
Well,
green to
right
red
about
or red
under
to
your,
green.
where is the continuity established, contiguity rather, established for District 3? The east.
There's like a little.
It goes up above that, the northern lights.
Okay, so if we were to look at that little peninsula just to the right, well, there,
That too, what did that do?
that guess anything?
Actually, and didn't hurt.
If we were to look at that,
And then down there,
yes, that's what I'm looking at.
change that to 3.
It looks like it. could
Change
be
this to 3?
multifamily.
That little, well, I'm just saying that square needs to be the same color as the rest of the thing above it,
Right.
so.
Yeah. It looks like that could be multifamily, so it may be hard to do much with that without going over, just from the way the buildings are laid out.
Or actually, that little block of 6 is not contiguous. That's that part. See if that helps us at all. It doesn't look like there's any people there. That's funny. Okay.
Undo or star?
Hmm?
Undo or star?
Oh, I think it has to stay because it wasn't contiguous anyways. But that just means that maybe we go back to the park.
Yeah.
We just need to shave back off what we just did on the other side. We didn't have a choice there, unfortunately. But if we go back to the highway park, one of those blocks, I'm trying to remember I don't remember populations off the top of my head. The top right one. The top right block.
Top right, take these.
The right one, all the way to the right, that one. And just start block by block.
Assigning it to,
We're trying to put it to, oh,
4 is
never mind.
running close to.
that's why I was looking like, what are you
I don't know. I'm just trying to clean this up real quick. Okay, then add a block to District 4, but barely, because if we do one too many, even, we only have 81 wiggle on 4, so 4 is not necessarily the answer.
You have room in 5. I don't know where 5 is at, but you have room in 5. It's at negative 66.
District 3 is contiguous with Districts 2, 4, and 6.
I guess more so what I was saying is that if you did want to play around with 4, if 4 is near 5, it could work out. I don't know.
Oh, I see, yep.
We just have to do 2 steps instead of 1.
There is a,
Oh, and they are connected. They are 4 and 5 are connected.
can you save what you're doing?
Oh, here we go again.
Do you have it locked? on
It
yours?
told me to lock it. Hold on, I'm unlocking it.
Oh, so you have to unlock it. Is it unlocked now?
Share, unlock. It is unlocked.
Okay. Okay, okay, got it. Okay.
So now you, okay, yeah, that's why it's confusing. Cool.
Okay.
Can you save it as a different thing?
Yeah, save as, instead of lose, in case we lose it.
There we go. New plan.
I'm gonna call it Columbus Map 2.
Or
Is this gonna
was
be
it
one of the 2 maps? Or is that the assumption? Okay. Map B.
And what did you save that as?
Columbus 2020 Map B.
Okay.
And let me see if I can share it to you all first. Share plan.
Yep, I see it.
Okay. Is that 2 maps?
2 maps.
Dave, what do you got?
Not yet.
No, I think we still have, I mean, to get to the 500 number.
Yep, we still have basically one district that is out of balance
Got it, okay,
On this one.
on this one.
Yeah.
all right.
So if we're looking at, what just happened?
Actually, District 1 is at a deviation of 511. So, as you were saying, in order to, we should really correct both of those, right?
Yeah, districts 1 and 3.
Yep.
And actually, if we move the excess that we're talking about from District 3 into District 1, that solves both problems, because they're contiguous.
That's true. So let's see, where would that go?
Never mind, they're not touching each other.
Ah. No, they're not, okay.
District 2 has about 100, a little bit over 100 in room. I just don't know what that means for you all. You only need 8 people.
You said District 2, what?
Take more.
I'm sorry?
Oh, I'm sorry. We only need to move 8, but we could move more than 8 into District 1, because it's under,
That's,
is that negative
you
511?
would be moving from District 1 into District 2.
No, from District 2 into District 1, because we need to give more people to 1.
Oh, yeah, sorry, that's what I meant, yeah.
Oh, no problem, I'm with you. And so that does help a little bit, I guess. If there is a place, Dave, that you would suggest that move?
I'm looking.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Isn't that?
Thank you.
So.
So at the top of District 3, where it comes together with District 2, there's a voting precinct that straddles the two of them. It's 81B. Right there.
Three.
And you're wanting to move out to District 2?
So if you move that from 3 to 2, did it make any difference?
Yeah.
That's
That's
okay.
that's way too many.
Huh?
I said, yeah, that's way too many for District 2.
Okay, but then we have to move from 2 into 1, right?
It's still,
it's gonna be high.
it's still too many.
Okay.
But it did, I see where you're going.
Did it get District 3 down to the number it needed to be?
It did, but it took District 2 to 1491,
Okay, but
1,004.
so now we need to move from 2 to 1.
But we can't move enough to get District 2 back where it needs to be.
So District 2 is at 1,400 over, and if 1,000 people, just under 1,000, move from 2 to 1, District 1 would be over by just about 500, and District 2 would be over by just about 500. So technically, it could do it.
Right.
But,
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I see what you're saying.
so this is looking at where would 1,000 folks come from District 2 into District 1, and if you, right there where the, if we pulled that down just a little bit, there's already a dip in there, so maybe that's a place that we look.
Yeah, that whole section is, we can't add all of it.
Mm-mm.
Throw it over.
But if there's a portion or some blocks, like there is that area right there is made up of at least, it's 2 voting precincts. So if
This
this,
right
so if you go to the one just to your, the next one over. Oh, either way, both of them. That one is what I was thinking at first, was easy, to move that from District 2 to 1.
Into 1.
I don't know what that does for numbers. badly did I mess up?
That takes District 1 to 1,147.
Yeah, too far.
Went too far?
So undo
There's a
that.
whole bunch of people in that little square, is what that
Yeah.
means.
That's that Salem neighborhood I was talking about.
So take that back.
There's also a lot of multifamily in that precinct, right along the freeway.
How many people?
What about over west of Worthington?
To go from 2 into 1?
Uh-huh.
What area?
To the west?
It's all the way to the west of to the west end of District 1, and District 2 is below it.
This right here?
I think if
Further,
you zoom
keep
out,
going west.
Yeah, you have to zoom out and then go to your left.
Over here.
I don't think anybody would argue with this.
And this is a voting precinct?
Well, the precinct looks awfully big. We may have to split the precinct. The precincts are in the right districts now, but, so precinct 60G is the one that abuts District 1, and that comes out of District 2. I'm thinking it's probably going to be too many, but
So 60B?
60G, yeah.
G.
Oh, that's the airport. Is that right? I'm looking at the right thing. Oh, it's big.
No, it's below,
Oh,
right
sorry.
there.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a big
It's
area.
huge, but
But
most of that doesn't have population in it.
there's an airport there. So we'll see what happens.
I'm not sure.
Is that the airport?
Yes, there's the airport right there.
Yeah, Ohio State University.
That's Bolton Field.
Yep. So that's Sawmill down to,
You technically can make a District 1 and not mess up District 2's contiguity, technically.
I think so.
Yeah, the contiguity is established to the north.
Around it, yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like they want to move it. Yeah?
You want to
Great.
move the 60G to where?
To District 1,
One.
and just see what happens.
to
Oh, way too much.
Way too many. And so back where we were in Salem,
Do you want to undo that?
Yes, please.
Okay.
in the Salem area that we were just in,
Okay, let's don't leave this yet. What if we just took it down to Granville Road and split that precinct? West Granville, Dublin, Granville Road.
On both sides?
Yeah,
And you want to add that to District 1?
so out of District 2, take everything north of West Granville Road and put it into District 1. Yeah,
Check the numbers right there. Okay.
District 2 still has a little to give.
well, yeah, I guess it changed, but is that contiguous?
District 1 has too many now. You can walk back some of that if you would like. By about 200 and 2.
yeah, so take the last couple that you put in and take them back out.
Actually, let me
let's walk them out
propose the
somewhere
other
else,
way.
yeah.
Let's go to the west, where
Okay.
around, what does it say, Sun Center?
Mm-hmm.
There's multifamily in there.
So take this out.
I would start by taking that out rather than splitting up, I think it's Brookside Estates or something right there, rather than split up that neighborhood. Let's see if we can do it with some of the multifamily instead. Where are we now?
There you go.
It's still 2 million District 1.
Okay.
But that was a nice drop.
Yeah, because that's where I think Micro Center is.
Do you want to go down, across?
Nah, that's where the old, they're about to build another 1,000 units. It's where the old rec center used to be.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Here, Commissioner Paul?
Should we go behind it, like, or north of it?
North or to the east?
Let's start from the west.
There isn't anything
Wait, what
west
do you
on
mean?
this side.
So
Not
go
there,
north?
but
North.
To the,
To
yeah,
the
there.
east? Okay.
I didn't see it change at all. That may be all
No.
commercial. That's all commercial.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
That probably went up, right?
Sawmill Place, REI. Oh, I know where that is.
Starbucks,
Yeah,
Hobby Lobby,
yeah, I don't know.
okay, that's too many for it.
Goodwill,
It's too far.
Lowe's.
So just down to Sawmill Place Boulevard. That do it?
Just need a little more. So you're saying up here?
Right, yeah.
Yes?
I'm not seeing your cursor.
It's the one right above the blue.
Yeah. right
That's
in
Sawmill
there.
Place Boulevard, yes.
Right. So 2 is a little large now, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe take the ones from the east that you are still clicked?
Take out of 2?
We need to,
Yeah,
Yeah.
put the thing down. Yeah, I think we just gerrymandered that subdevelopment, so put those back into 1. And then add the part north of Sawmill.
Yeah.
This
that
Yeah.
makes more sense, yeah.
into 2?
Yep. That looks prettier at least.
Yeah.
Good?
There,
No?
that's almost there.
District 1's is still a
Still a
little.
little high.
170. Back to 170.
Um,
All right, maybe that's not the right place to do it.
Try going one more block to the north. Just above where your cursor is, yeah. What's the next?
District 1 is the one that needs to come down now.
District 1 needs to come down.
100 or so.
107.
And District 2 can increase by 200 or so,
Yeah,
a little less than 200.
right.
Put 100 from 1 into 2.
Can you zoom in again and a little tighter, because we can actually see buildings, we can see what's multifamily versus single family, and sometimes that helps.
Tighter we're at.
I was thinking over there where we were on the west side of 161. Okay. Yeah, see that
We need
next.
200, you said? How many? About?
100 lower in 1. I think.
170.
So 100's too big, or 1's too big?
By 100, I think.
170.
Yeah, I don't see an easy fix here.
What about on the east side of the airport? that's a country club, okay.
Yeah,
What's at the bottom of it? What road is that?
it's Dublin Granville.
No, over where the purple is on the right. What's that road that
Over
goes
here?
up? You see the big yellow polygon?
I see the Brookside Country Golf Club.
Yeah, now what's that road on the right of it? It says TH Road, something,
Linworth,
Linworth Road?
right.
Yep.
Just low density.
But it's also, I mean, you can't take anything out there because it's
It's not connected.
Right.
township. There's nothing to put it to.
Right. Then on this side of it,
Okay. Over to the right, Granville Road, you see, let's see. Okay, right in there. Just up a little bit.
North of 270?
No, I'm sorry, I'm lost here.
Here's 161 right here.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, right there, okay.
why can't
Just,
that all
so
go?
just right where your cursor's at, just below it, that's William Post Lake.
Pencader, this is the way it's,
Huh?
referred to. That's a Pencader Estates.
Okay, but it's pretty low density.
It is.
And it's,
So try moving that from 1 to 2.
On this side of Dublin Granville Road, yeah.
Yeah.
that voting precinct that itself, I think would do it, well,
Yeah,
before, when we start moving stuff.
Boom. There it is.
It's gonna be high. Yeah, so this is where we started, the Salem area. And so before we moved over to the Sun Center area, if we did this move, it would have been perfectly balanced. But we already moved some other stuff, so it is not. That's why I was gonna direct us back over here.
So Salem's gonna be further east.
I thought that was, what didn't you call that, Salem?
This is, yes, we're in the
Yeah.
vicinity of Salem. What you're talking about now is just west of Salem,
right.
on the across Sinclair Road.
No, where we were was on
Okay.
the other side of High Street.
The precinct
Salem is on
straddles-
this side of High Street.
Right, we're on this side of High Street. We're on the east side of High Street.
Right.
now.
We just moved back over.
But does that do it?
There's too many people.
So were you saying maybe you should go ahead and do what we just did and then go back west and undo that?
I'm saying, well, yeah, kind of. But no, not if we want to keep those things in the area, then it's just finding the 100 people. But if we didn't want to do those blocks like we just did, we just undo back a number of steps and then add that last one that we did.
Yeah.
But we're going from 1 to 2.
Which part?
I'm asking for the numbers.
Oh.
Yeah, we're trying to keep straight which direction we need to go here.
Okay, perfect.
One needs to be decreased by 170.
Got it. Okay. Trying to see where else we can do it. Without having to like undo a bunch of stuff.
So where are the numbers now?
You need 170 from District 1.
To District 2.
It doesn't have to be District 2, but District 2 is the only one that borders District 1, so yes to District 2.
District 1 is still 172 big.
172 big, yes.
Okay, so if we're trying to move population from District 1 to District 2, let's look at what's east of Cleveland.
Cleveland is gonna bite me.
Around Corporate Exchange, which is up near the freeway. And so you've got a lot of single family in that area. I think you could move it to District 2 in fairly small increments, if you will. You're not going to find yourself going over all of a sudden.
From corporate exchange down or just along this
Right
border?
where your cursor is. If you
Okay.
start there, I would suggest perhaps that might be a good place to try to move some population from 1 to 2.
Okay.
But 2 is already too big, huh?
Yeah, so I had to go back some.
That's it?
One more. Okay. So do you want to start from the interior instead of the exterior?
Sure.
If you undo that, because we're over just the last one.
It's over regardless. It's still at 6:15.
Yeah. The one that goes around that thing that you just did, which is bigger? The inside, oh, never mind, contiguity, never mind. Is there another?
Do you want me to
down
look at
the-
the exterior? Oh, yeah, that one makes sense. Yeah, grass here, same.
There's that one, if you could put your cursor right about,
Right here?
no, to the right. That one should do it, but it's going to look.
It's going to look weird, yeah. Click it. Let's see what happens.
Doesn't look that weird.
Yeah.
What about the one directly to the left?
It didn't change any numbers.
Do you want me to undo this one?
No, just keep that and add the little sliver there that's,
No, to the left of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
The thing in the middle.
That, oh,
No. What was that? Honestly, though, that funny district might have been the thing. No, it's too many. Okay. Is there, I mean, other than looking, it's gonna be a funny look if we cut from where we're at right now, unless we went up on the top right, the next one up from the blue. Nope, that one,
I think we may have
too big.
isolated a portion to the north.
And it's too big, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we zoom out just a smidgen?
Do you want me to run a check and see what happens?
Actually, yes, I would love that. She
Sorry?
said, would we like her to run a check to see what happens?
Sure.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that deviation thing, and I think the 503 is 0.5% above and 0.5% below. A full 1% would be 1,006. And so that's why I was thinking that the 1% deviation would be 1,006 and not the 503, because the 503 would be 0.5%, but that's kind of how I was doing it. Because they can be 1,006 larger than the smallest district. So whatever the smallest district is, that one has to be within 1,006 of the, whatever the largest district is, 1,006 between that one and the smallest district, whatever that is.
So currently, what's the largest district? Currently, what is the largest district, and then what is the smallest district?
The largest district currently is
3.
District 4.
Three's
100
larger.
No, District 1.
Oh, sorry, yeah, District 1, sorry. I was trying to look at the last three.
615 over versus 495 under. So we're close for that 1,000.
Well, it passed, right? It passed the standard deviation.
It did.
Yeah.
Oh, what were the checks that actually failed, or is that something else altogether?
Connectivity,
Yeah, connectivity, null assignment, which is that outlier district on the
Always,
southwest. And then, but there are some connectivity ones that would have to be fiddled with, but
It'll tell you, if you, have you done integrity? So it tells you all, where all of the issues are.
yeah, you can zoom in and fix it and then zoom back out, and then do it in such a way that with where they're all at, it's very few and far between, so it shouldn't change the numbers too bad.
No, because everyone's been assigned.
so that's a pass.
Yeah, it's essentially a pass. I mean, we'll have to go back and fix those the three other ones that didn't pass, but everything else is passed.
There's 2 maps. No, 3. Right?
Two.
Well, technically, we did do 3 completed maps, but 2 that we would move on to the next.
So I'm gonna go ahead.
And we haven't even entered in your map yet.
No, I think what we should do, let's bring up the 2 maps and let's kind of just talk holistically of how the map looks and maybe things that we want to keep in mind for the 3rd one. That we think that we can take into account. I'm trying to see what my map even looks like.
Bio break.
Yeah.
Let me see, I gotta go through my email to see how I can do the compare again. Maybe
So yeah, it's probably a good time to take a bathroom.
what was that?
Oh, they were saying bio break, and if you're checking, yes, I would say that's probably a good time to use the
Oh,
bathroom.
yeah.
Under the review tab, you can open a map for comparison. Oh, that's confusing.
I'm going to save this and log into my actual computer because I cannot see all the emails on my phone, so I cannot see that email. So I'm going to close this out just so you know.
So the map 2 that we just did, you could take 110 people out of District 1 and put it in District 3 and it would balance.
But 1 and 3 don't touch.
Yeah, they do.
Where?
Oh, no, they don't. I'm sorry. It has to go from 2 to 3. That's right.
connecting to my desktop, so I'll have to look at how to compare them, but I can't get it up right now on this computer.
What's that, the comparison?
Yeah. She sent me an email, but it's not pulling on my phone, and I don't have access to my desktop from this computer. I'm gonna see if I can open a separate browser, and you'll be able to see into. If I can see two that way.
Yeah, for me, I just opened up both of them on separate tabs, so I could toggle back and forth between.
That's what I'm doing now
Yeah.
too.
Councilman. How are you? Good, good, good.
I think so.
Got another map in, thanks to Commissioner Frost. We have one on deck, thanks to Commissioner Serrell.
The way I was able to get like wildly different maps was to start at a different place on the map,
Right.
because it was like,
You would have kept doing what we've been doing if you didn't.
so the one I have in progress, I started on the south.
So,
Went up.
I don't know if you did it because Dave raised an issue about going north to south. And I thought the same thing, but didn't say it out loud. But this one goes east to west.
Yeah, I kind of was thinking about that, but also some of the commentary was like we had districts going entirely, like almost from the northeast all the way to the southeast. And it
Which
just,
is no way how we behave.
no, and because most of us don't really leave our quadrants of town.
And something that I don't know if it's worth calling out or maybe doing a separate map, but I don't think people realize like where people live as far as density, where people are like, oh my God, the South Side district is huge. It's like, well, let's look at like a population density. There's hardly anyone down there versus the North Side where they're, I don't know, just to have that context for people.
We talked about that last week, right? Square footage and density,
Yeah.
like together would help people to understand some things a lot better. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise you look at this and you're like, that's not fair.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Locking them. Thank you for getting us out of here tonight.
Well, I will say Commissioner Cabot is right. If you subtract the population of the smallest from the largest, you do have more than our allowed deviation.
I agree, but then I also have a question as to the software.
Right.
Because like, are we able to adjust it? Like, how was the deviation set? Because I think what the issue is that we're reading the rule in two ways, and we all need to be reading it in the same way, especially as far as how this GIS is set.
I asked Melissa to set it at 1%.
Plus or minus 1% gives you a deviation of 2% from smallest to largest. Plus or minus 1% should be set to plus or minus 0.5%.
So that there's only a percentage in between the largest and the smallest district. That's how I read it, but that's not how this is checking us.
Right.
This is giving us a larger leeway. So it may be programmed wrong. Most likely, yeah.
Or it's programmed right, it's just in the interpretation of the rule. So I guess the question is, what does 1% mean?
I think we need to go by the charter. I mean, we need to go
Yeah.
by our instructions, not what the software
But
thinks.
the largest district cannot be, it's a 1%.
From the largest to the
district
smallest.
Cannot exceed the smallest district by 1%. So if the 1% is 1,006 people, just full stop of the district, then whatever is the smallest district, that cannot be larger or smaller by 1,006 people. Because that's what 1% is.
Okay. So I'm looking at map A. It looks like the largest are the 6 and 7. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, okay. So 6 is 559 over the number, and 7 is 568 under, and that is the biggest difference. When we do the math on that, you're over the difference.
Yeah.
1,127 is the difference between the largest and the smallest.
Yeah, we didn't run a check on this one at all yet.
I'm just saying, so but, okay, so let me look at map B. The largest, negative 495 is District 8. 615 is District 1. $1,110 is the difference. I don't know what that proved, but I'm just telling you what the difference is between them. But it did pass the check based on how the GIS is set.
Yeah, I think we are finding that the permissible deviation in the software is not what our charter tells us it needs to be.
So I will go in with Melissa and have her readjust it because I did ask her to put it at 1%.
Cool, thank you.
I guess my question is, should we, before we leave tonight, try to make sure that these are balanced? Before we move on to a third map, so we can really just say, these are done.
And again, map B is only off by 112 people. District 1 is 112 people
District
too
1.
large.
That's it.
Yep.
All right.
What do we say?
I mean, if we can get one of them at least finalized, I think would be a win.
So this, with the remaining time, we dig in and find the 112 people?
In District 1?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
And so that, the William Post Lake area is still in District 1, right?
It is right now.
Yes.
And when we fiddled with it before, it gave us too many people.
Yeah.
What if we go south of it down to Bethel Road?
So, no, wait a minute, Bethel's way over to the west.
All right, well, what if we go south of 161 all the way to where the purple meets the blue? So over to the right, Naya, to the east. And down. Go down road, right? What is that?
This is the one this is the one that y'all have played with like a couple
Yeah,
of times.
you're in
already.
Forest Park, so go down is way over to our west at this
All right,
point.
what am I looking at where 1 meets 2 right there? What does that say?
That's Sinclair
Sinclair
Road.
Road.
And we played there already?
Yeah, that's the one
Yeah.
that you guys keep going back to.
Gotcha, all right. It just stands out. Oh,
Let's-
that's the Salem Village. Now I see.
Let's continue over to the east a little bit. Yep. And in that upper right quadrant,
Here?
keep going to the east and north. Yep. Right around in that area. Let's see if there's anything we can do there. No,
This
that's
is where
where
you
we
go- this
were
is where you
before.
go.
Yeah, we've been
Okay.
here before as well.
Yeah.
Yep, that's where we were before. Okay.
Can we zoom out once again?
I found
And
it.
again?
I found it.
You found it?
Yeah. Where were we just now? Okay, zoom in to where you just were. Now there is that, zoom back out, I'm sorry, a little bit. That north-south street, what is this dark line?
Hooper
Cooper
Road?
Road?
To this one over here, almost by the plus minus? I'm just trying to orient you to where I'm at. Okay, so there's Bella Via Avenue. That's,
Yeah.
okay, there's,
A little north, a little west.
yeah, other
A
way.
little west.
Keep going along that line. Okay, there, that one that you're in right now.
Right here?
Yep. Make that district 2. It is funny looking, but it did it.
Oh, yep, you're right there.
Yep.
It
You have to
Can't
live
have
there.
That's right. Yeah, it'll take a little explaining, but it works.
Dave?
For now, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. We may find with the integrity checks where some things get contiguous and some things don't, that we might be able to put that back.
Yeah.
So that's now done.
And so back to back to map A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, I just kept clicking them until the
Right.
numbers worked. I'm sorry, everybody in that district.
Can you all see the updates that I made to map B in your thing?
Let's see.
I just want to be able to close it and make sure that you all can see it before I close it.
I can see that you last changed it at 8:13 p.m.
Okay. So I'm going to close that one and then go back to this other.
Yeah. Got it.
Cool. How about this thing?
So District 6 is the only one that needs,
Six
or
and seven.
6 and 7.
Do they happen to touch each other?
They do.
Yeah, 6 and 7.
Which map are we
No,
on now?
This is
At the
A.
top. Okay, yep. Is that back where we literally just were?
It might be. Shows to be your favorite place.
No, it's not, is it?
It's really close.
Mm-hmm.
It
is
is
very
the
close.
same
It is
exact,
very
it is
close.
the same area.
Oh, it
just-
is?
It literally
Wow.
is the same area. That's insane.
That is.
50 people.
And you need to move them from
6 to 7.
6 to 7.
Gray to pink.
Right there. Oh, yeah, that little hat.
That funny thing that's poking out?
Yeah.
There's no population there.
I think it's multi-unit, right?
This thing?
It could be multifamily, yeah.
You wanna-
No, the little gray thing,
Why do I see?
right? Isn't that what we're
I
saying?
fiddled with the hat. The population didn't change.
It didn't, okay. I
It's-
trust.
I mean,
Maybe-
but it's still cleaner with it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah, I would say let's go ahead and try it. That,
Let me make sure this little corner that is wrongly assigned doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
I know we are trying to go from 6 to 7, but there's a piece of 7 that is not contiguous to itself. And it will need to go into 6.
Where at?
Over to the, where you can't see to your right,
Okay, hold on. To my right.
that part.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
you're saying this can go in, this needs to go into
It
6?
kind of has to go into 6 because it's not touching anything else.
Okay.
But then that might give us a bigger margin to move something else easier into 6 and 7.
Yep.
I don't know why, but it does this. It's very strange. Oh, yeah, 6 and 7 need some
Yeah,
change.
600. Not even, wait, 100?
There's 100 on both sides.
150? 160, okay.
Yeah,
7 needs to grow.
7 needs to grow.
So if we could move 200 people, we'd be good.
Yep.
Well, you have to move 200 people and then move 200 people again.
Why?
Because if you move 200 people from District 6,
So
oh,
7,
yeah, that's what you're saying.
that
never
would be
mind.
perfect.
My bad.
Yeah.
You're right.
Okay.
Start with the hat.
This thing?
Yeah.
No,
Or which hat?
go ahead, that works.
No, I'm trying to
The
see.
one that's jutting out right by you, right there?
Oh, this?
Yes. That thing would be
And you want to make this District 6?
7.
To-
Oh.
6 into 7.
That
Okay.
hat, yeah, and there's no population.
Okay, gotcha. Move this to 7.
Nothing. Right? Yep.
Okay, yeah, it didn't change.
But now we can keep coming down.
Stop touching the airport. Or did that add a lot for you?
What if we went right there at the Dublin Sawmill Shopping Center? Put that in the 7 and work our way over?
Is that where the
Yeah.
Sun Center?
6 number is right now?
Go down?
Zoom back out just a little bit. That block where your
Not
cursor
many
is
people.
does it, though.
That does it? Let's do it.
And you want to move this to,
7.
It's big, but look at the number.
but then all these pieces?
Right.
Oh, no longer
So if we just look at it, what it does when we do it.
6 and 7. Oh, that's
So
Hey, man.
do you want to make this District 7?
7.
we have to.
If you do all of that, it fits.
Still? Okay.
Including the stuff that hangs over top the other way. All of it would, the number I have is that 6 is at negative 277 and 7 is at 268.
Oh, I know what I'm doing.
And is everything still contiguous? I like it.
Feeling we're gonna be over.
And does this still have some unassigned?
83, from what I can tell. We'll see if I did it the same. There was a piece up there that's, yeah.
Okay.
Can we tell where that 83 unassigned is?
It's marked red. But it's hard to see until I do that, run the integrity check, because that's when it'll show it. It's marked red, but even with it being marked red, it's difficult to see.
That might be where your colorblindness comes in handy.
But we have, I mean, if you add any 83 to any of these districts, you're still in the clear.
Right.
So it's not a major infraction.
All right, you want to pack that one up?
Let's close that one out. What'd you say?
Not to jump the gun, but just curious. So when we're thinking about our third, and like is maybe something we're thinking about when we leave, like to as we think about next week. But what are we thinking different? Some of these, I mean, there are some differences definitely between 1 and 2, some similarities as well. But is there anything that we were like, we should try it this way?
So, we've all been trying to keep Columbus communities intact, and that's where we started.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any other value that we should be trying to achieve, such as demographics of districts?
Just note, if you're going to do demographics, you got to be careful with that because they can't be a deciding factor
Mm-hmm.
per the Voting Rights Act.
But I think you're just asking a question. You're trying to stimulate thought and ask us if there's any other trains of thought,
Yeah, if we can produce a third map that's based on a whole different
Right,
mindset.
philosophy
Right.
going into it, and then we may end up being closer to something we have here, but we've started out at a different place. Is that kind of where you're?
yeah, I mean, if we were actually making districts that people were to be elected from, we could use demographics to consider opportunity districts or majority-minority districts. Since we don't have that situation,
So as a thought, not a deciding factor.
Right.
Yep.
just thinking out loud, just to make sure we haven't
Yeah.
been marching down.
So I kind of half-baked have been thinking that many of the neighborhoods, the way they're defined, may be doing things or repeating behaviors that we no longer want to repeat.
I think I mentioned something like that last week. I
You
said,
did.
Are we perhaps sustaining
Accidentally sustain, yeah.
inequities that
Right.
have evolved over time?
And I'm not fully, I haven't fully baked it yet.
Yeah. It may be a larger discussion than we can get into.
Yeah.
I mean, neighborhoods are what neighborhoods are, and whether we should think that they should be the way they are, I'm not sure that's
Right.
a conversation we can really have right now.
Is there, I'm sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought you was going to say
Commissioner
I was
Paul?
going to say, are there any other, so along the thought of Commissioner Cabot, what other things really are defining to a neighborhood? Is it a high school? Is it a rec center? Like, what other information could we lay on to, that's different?
Right.
Or just take that all the way out altogether. I mean, now the thing is, we've been at this for 6 or 8 months, and we've heard all of these things. So it's hard to, you can't just ignore it flat out. Like I tried even with one of my maps, and I can't. I was thinking, oh no, I know that somebody up there wanted to be over here because of so-and-so. But is there something else that we could, another layer? I don't know if it's the police precincts one, right? But is there something else that could be helpful?
Let's continue to think.
You do have police prints as one of your layers too.
Yep.
The other way, I was saying, not that I would choose that.
Oh, okay. I was just saying I was just saying that it does exist if it's something you would like to see.
I mean, it's good information because I don't know where most of them are. But no, not for this.
Excellent. So that being said, we've completed this week's task. We have 2 maps. We're about 5 minutes ahead of schedule. Let's call this meeting adjourned and take those 5 minutes back.
Actually, I do have one question.
All right.
In our early conversations with city staff, I believe that I asked, I just drew a blank on the gentleman's name, and I apologize to him in absentia.
Mike?
The gentleman from the Department of Neighborhoods who talked with us about neighborhood liaison areas, for example.
You're talking about Mr. Hui? He in the educational presentations?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. David Hui.
Okay. And my question was, is there any chance that at some point the city might align the neighborhood liaison areas with the, council districts, residential districts? There's a different number of them. I think there are currently 7 liaisons areas. Is that right? I'm not sure if that's true or not.
You're asking me how many neighborhood liaisons there are?
My question, I guess, was, is it possible for us to have an overlay here that allows us to identify the neighborhood liaison areas? Would that be helpful?
I don't know if that exists, but I can ask.
I don't see it in the choices that we can identify.
It's not under current, but I asked her to add
Yeah.
these things. I
Yeah.
asked her to add layers, so that one, I can ask her if that layer exists and if it can be added.
Yeah, that's a thought. It might be helpful to know, again, it may be that there might be sense in aligning the districts with neighborhood liaison areas, or at least looking at it as an option, so.
It looks like there are like 7 or 8, and they're associated by the commissions.
Right.
And so, yes, probably to group some, maybe the groupings might be slightly different than what we're thinking of.
That's what I was thinking, yes.
So with that information, do you still want the neighborhood liaisons to see if they have that as available?
Yeah, if we could have it available, it'd be great. Without a lot of work.
Okay, I'm not sure that it's an Esri layer, but I will ask. And if it is, I will have her add that.
Okay.
Just another thought, not that I think that these are the right model to go off of, but I was cross-referencing how the state legislative house maps were drawn. Because it is around the same, 100, I think they're working at like 110,000 individuals. And of course, they can cross into other municipalities, but it was interesting the way that they kind of divided some things. Like, for example, the District Number 1, which includes downtown Columbus, like goes all the way into the hilltop, all the way out east, and just, it's like an east-west district across. So, just something I referenced this week.
You did what?
I referenced it this
Got
week
it,
just to
got it.
see kind of how they divided it.
Yep. All things for us to think about. I look forward to seeing everyone next week when we reconvene. This meeting is adjourned.